In December 2025, Bishop Athanasius Schneider walked into the Apostolic Palace for a private audience with Pope Leo XIV. He came with two proposals, a solemn profession of faith to counter doctrinal confusion and a plea for what he called a Pax Liturgica Leonina, the liturgical peace of Pope Leo. What he heard in return surprised him. The Pope smiled. Then he shared something personal. Young people had come to him, converts, and told him directly that their journey to the Catholic faith began with the traditional Latin Mass. Schneider recalled, "I was surprised to hear this from the Pope himself, so this was for me a sign that he had some sensibility for this topic." This revelation, confirmed by Vatican correspondent Edward Pentin and detailed in Schneider's interview with Dr. Robert Moynihan, exposes a tension at the heart of this pontificate. Pope Leo has witnessed the fruits of the ancient liturgy. He has heard the testimonies of young converts. And yet, so far, he has permitted the continued implementation of Traditionis Custodes, the 2021 motu proprio that suppressed the traditional Mass around the world. Schneider's audience on December 18th was open and cordial. The Pope listened attentively, with what Schneider described as a very, very fraternal and simple demeanor. The bishop handed him two drafts. The first was a solemn profession of faith, modeled on Pope Paul VI's 1968 Credo of the People of God, designed to address what Schneider called the 5 wounds of the Church: doctrinal confusion, liturgical anarchy, questionable episcopal appointments, deficient priestly formation, and difficulties affecting contemplative life. The second was more specific, a universal legal settlement for the Roman Rite. Schneider urged the Pope to grant the same rights, the same dignity to the traditional form of the Roman Rite and the Novus Ordo, and to let them peacefully coexist. He even gave it a name that would echo through history: Pax Liturgica Leonina. Schneider advised against another motu proprio. Benedict XVI issued Summorum Pontificum. Francis responded with Traditionis Custodes. A third document in the same format, Schneider argued, would only perpetuate the cycle of liturgical war. Instead, he proposed a more solemn document, an apostolic constitution that would transcend the ping-pong of papal decrees and establish a stable, lasting framework. The irony is striking. Pope Leo has seen with his own eyes what the traditional Mass produces: converts, young people, spiritual fruit. He acknowledged this to Schneider with evident appreciation. Yet the restrictions remain. Bishops continue to suppress the old rite. Communities continue to suffer. Schneider's diagnosis of the Church's wounds includes liturgical anarchy and confrontation around the Mass of the Roman Rite, divisions that, in his view, have been exacerbated by the very policies meant to heal them. He sees a church torn between legitimate longing and ideological hardening, uncertain how to move forward without deepening division. The bishop also addressed the situation of the SSPX, warning that it would be a tragedy if they remained completely separated from the Church. He compared it to the schism of the Old Believers in Russia, arguing that if this arm is lost, the Church would be harmed and disfigured. He called on Pope Leo to act with historic generosity, allowing at least partial integration without demanding full doctrinal resolution first. What Schneider proposes is not revolution, but recognition, not a victory for one side over another, but a peaceful coexistence that honors the Church's own principle. Lex orandi, lex credendi. The law of prayer is the law of belief. Pope Leo now holds two realities in his hands. He has heard the testimonies of young converts. He has received a concrete proposal for liturgical peace. The question is whether he will act on what he knows. Schneider's final appeal is simple: let the old rite and the new rite coexist. Let the Church be wide enough for both. Let there be peace.